mall staff discriminated against an individual with a disability. Let me take you to the video. I will give you the background. I'm taking you to Cumberland Mall. Here it is.
There's just so much going on.
Close, let me know when you're ready.
It's gone.
Man, I come to y'all in the public, and I'm being honest, I come to y'all with tears in my eyes. I said, we had a pitch contest, we won the opportunity as a family-owned business. I'm a veteran, honorably served my country to do business here in the Cumberland Mall. And us being vendors today for Major League Baseball All-Star Weekend, you had the general manager of the mall tell us that my son cannot be in the mall with us this weekend. He's a part of our company. He's my son and my family. I find that to be very discriminatory. So the Cumberland Mall, I want to let you all know this is not the end because of what y'all have done today. And I felt it was very discriminatory that we have to leave now because my son, who's in a wheelchair that has cerebral palsy, who works with us, who's a part of our family, he goes everywhere with us, he's a man. To be treated that way is heartbreaking.
Put it up full mass. Cumberland Mall is in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, Georgia. I actually received correspondence from those who were involved in this. I'm going to give you the background and the update. A suburban Atlanta father says what was meant to be a proud moment for his family's small business turned into a painful and public lesson in discrimination when his disabled son, who uses a wheelchair, was ordered to leave their vending booth at Cumberland Mall during MLB All-Star Weekend in Atlanta. Quote, "If my son can't stay, we can't stay," said Demond Crump Sr, who walked out of the mall with his wife and 32-year-old son, Demond Crump Jr, who has cerebral palsy. "We are leaving as well," end quote. The Henry County family was invited to participate in a special vendor showcase at the Cobb County Mall after winning a Morehouse College pitch competition for their lifestyle brand, Rain. But as they were setting up shop on Friday, they say the general manager of the mall approached and told them their son had to go. Quote, "We were setting up and we were told that my son couldn't be there with us," said Crump, according to Atlanta News First. Quote, "He needed to leave the mall. We were like, huh? What do you mean? Like he couldn't be here as if he was in the way. We are his parents. We were able to watch him, see him, everything," end quote. Crump said he tried to reason with the manager, explaining that their son is an integral part of their company and always accompanies them. Quote, "I was talking to him man to man, father to father, like, man, this is my son you're speaking of." And there was just no remorse. He said, frustrated, the family packed up and left. Moments before exiting the mall, Crump recorded a Facebook video, later viewed by hundreds of thousands of people across various platforms. Quote, "I come to you with tears in my eyes," he said in the post. The caption read in part, "Special needs people can't come to the mall now?" The Crumps say they were never given a clear reason at the time for why their son could not stay, but they suspect it had to do with optics during the high-traffic All-Star Weekend. They were initially told one parent could leave with their son while the other stayed behind to run the table. Quote, "You're saying that my son has to leave," and he's like, "Yes." And I'm like, what is he doing? This is my child. This is my son. He's a human being. At this point, I'm really shocked, Crump recalled. Crump also claims that when he questioned the general manager directly about the decision, the response was dismissive. And I said, "Sir, do you know this is discrimination?" Trump recalled. He said, "File whatever complaint you want. You guys can leave." Now, let's be very clear. It is discrimination. It is textbook discrimination. Public accommodations. Hopefully the general manager if that general manager is still employed, the general manager will be aware of this after the saga of what this GM has caused. Public accommodations. You cannot have a building where the public can generally commerce. They can come in, they can transact, they can leave. You cannot have that without providing public accommodations for every single individual who comes in there. For you to discriminate against an individual due to a particular condition is a violation of the public accommodations rule. That's just for starters. There's more. In a statement sent to local media, Cumberland Mall's ownership group, Brookfield Properties, addressed the backlash. Quote, "This was a deeply unfortunate situation. We are very sorry for our poor communication causing this misunderstanding. We have reached out to Mr. Crump and welcome his family to return to our shopping center." But Crump flatly rejected that explanation. "This was not a misunderstanding," he said. "So we don't have any desire to return to the mall. We have no plans on doing that." He said the general manager also called him later that day to apologize, citing, quote, "a safety issue and offering to relocate the family to a different part of the mall, an offer that Crump declined. Now, all of a sudden, you want to make amends," Crump said. "It doesn't work that way." The family has since hired an attorney and is considering legal action. When contacted by Atlanta Black Star, the Crump family had no comment other than to say their attorney would be addressing the situation moving forward. There you have it. The lack of sensitivity. You don't even need to know the law in order to get that scenario right. You just need to be sensitive. You need to be human. And if you happen to be human, Mr. General Manager, none of this would be happening. And you would not have alienated not only a family, not only a son, but also a community that supports them, which I'm included in that community and many others. All right, Jackson, thoughts here?
It seems to me like really what happened is this general manager made an arbitrary decision that he didn't like the aesthetics or something like that. Like perhaps he thought that this would make this ceremony that they were involved in less attractive because there was no real explanation to it. And if there was a safety issue, then it wouldn't have been like, y'all got to leave.
Right.
I mean, and if there was a safety issue as well, it would be for the young man. It wouldn't have been for everybody else because, you know, what is he going to do to cause harm to people who are walking around the vendors? You know, like that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So from what I can, and just the little information that we have on this, it seems like the general manager just decided that this wasn't a good look for the event. If that wasn't the case, then the owners of the mall wouldn't have reached out and they wouldn't have made a statement if that was actually some type of policy. Right. But we know that it's not. I mean, the country's come quite a long way socially in a lot of regards, but especially when it comes to just, you know, like disabled people to have access to areas where, you know, like whether it's elevators, different types of ramps that they can have. Like nobody really thinks anything of this in day-to-day life. So this was a really unfortunate decision that was made. I'm glad we're talking about it. And I think that the spotlight really and obviously should be on this general manager.
Yeah. We shall see how the mall at large responds. The ownership is now involved. I'll bring you updates as they come.